All they that be fat upon earth shall eat and worship. All they that go down to the dust shall bow before him, and none can keep alive his own soul. Psalm 22:29. David presents a striking contrast between the wealthy and the dying, yet both groups take part in the worship of God. Those who prosper are described by the phrase, all they that be fat upon earth. The word fat suggests abundance and luxury rather than physical obesity. Wealth often creates spiritual barriers. Rich people trust their resources instead of God. Jesus observed this difficulty. How hardly shall they that have riches enter into the kingdom of God? Mark 10:23. Yet divine grace can overcome even prosperity's spiritual obstacles. The phrase, shall eat and worship, connects physical satisfaction with spiritual devotion. The wealthy will take part in worship feasts, acknowledging God as the source of their abundance. This eating represents fellowship with the divine rather than selfish consumption. True prosperity comes from God's blessing. When wealthy people recognize this truth, they worship with gratitude instead of pride. Their resources become tools for the kingdom of God, rather than monuments to personal achievement. All they that go down to the dust describes those facing death. The phrase go down to the dust refers to humanity's mortal condition. Death comes to rich and poor alike. Ecclesiastes confirms this reality. All go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Ecclesiastes 3:20. Even dying people shall bow before him. Death strips away earthly pretensions and reveals spiritual reality. Facing mortality often produces authentic worship. People who ignore God during health frequently cry out to him during terminal illness. The expression, none can keep alive his own soul, emphasizes human helplessness before death. Medical advances can extend life, but cannot prevent ultimate mortality. Only God possesses power over death itself. This truth humbles human pride. Wealth, education, and achievement provide no defense against the grave. Recognition of mortality drives people to seek divine intervention. The psalmist elsewhere declares, precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. Psalm 116, verse 15. A seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. Psalm 22:30. David shifts focus from present worshippers to future generations. The word seed refers to descendants who will continue serving God. This service passes from parents to children through faithful instruction and example. The phrase, shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation, means God claims each generation as his own. Divine ownership extends through time. Each age produces servants who advance God's kingdom. This generational continuity requires intentional effort. Parents must teach children about God's character and commands. Moses instructed Israel concerning this responsibility. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Deuteronomy 6:7. They shall come, and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, that he hath done this. Psalm 22:31. The psalm concludes with a promise of ongoing testimony. Future generations shall come to proclaim God's righteousness. The phrase, shall declare his righteousness, describes evangelistic proclamation. God's righteousness includes both his perfect character and his righteous acts in history. Unto a people that shall be born refers to future generations who will hear this testimony. The gospel message must reach every generation. This transmission requires faithful witnesses who communicate biblical truth. The last phrase, "that he hath done this," points to God's completed work of salvation. Each generation proclaims this finished work. Our testimonies should focus on God's salvation, rather than personal achievements. Effective witnessing declares what God has done through Jesus, rather than what humans accomplish through their efforts.